But most people have that flip the other way around. Now, if we look at why most people don't get the success they want within their business and within life, it's down to a few very core identities. One is you are in complete paralysis of making a fucking decision. You cannot make the decision to step up, build your business, get in shape, run Facebook ads, do the thing you need to do, learn the skill. And if you actually just took action and executed on the thing you know you needed to do, you would already figured out how to either get it to work or whether it will never work. And you know what's the most valuable thing you can do? Is just have an answer to that question. But what you're probably listening to right now as you're sitting there is you have these questions in your head. There'll be something you're thinking about of like, I don't know the answer to this because I haven't really tried. And that haven't really tried is the reason you won't be successful. And this is because you're getting held back by fear. And your fear is basically your fear of embarrassment, of how other people are going to judge you if something doesn't work. Now, what you need to do is frame your thinking the other way. Instead of thinking of what could go wrong, think about what could go right. If you look at the upside, for example, about how to scale your business, and let's say you're going to grow from making 10 to 20K a month to 100K a month, that's an £80,000 or dollar difference per month. Over a year, that's astronomical. It's $960,000 a pound. And that can be a life-changing decision you can make, but you have to step into becoming the person who can do that. And that's why I say, like, actually building skills is really, really easy. Building the mindset to be able to do these things is very, very difficult. And where most people let themselves down is they don't keep the promises themselves they know they need to be keeping. In terms of the reality with that, where that comes into from your first perspective is you have to think about executing on things you need to do every single day, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. And it is incredibly simple when you come down to that. But most people can't think this way. Now, when you make things simple and easy, it's easy to be successful. So one of the best ways to do this is something called Plan Tomorrow Today. What are the 2 to 3 key things you need to get done tomorrow that can help you move the needle forward in your business, not just being busy? Because the reason you are not seeing success right now is you are just a busy fool. You're doing the same things over and over again, expecting to get a different result. Now, with your business and the vehicle you have, one of the quickest ways to improve that and to grow it faster is to actually focus on improving your offer. But most people don't put much time into this. If you can improve your pricing and how much you make per customer, reducing the churn and who you're specifically speaking to, you will make more money easier than ever before. But do you know what you're doing? You're taking the lazy action of doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting to get a different result because you're not willing to use your brain and actually flip the switch. Now, I'm not going to sound like Stephen Bartlett, but I know a lot of people coming onto our podcast and who are not subscribing but still enjoying the content. If I have one small ask from you, it's please hit the subscribe button. It'll help us a lot. The second thing you have to look at why most people fail is they actually don't think big enough. You're happy and content. You think where you are, but deep down, you know you're not, because you know you're not maximizing your potential in terms of where you're at. And that gap in terms of where you know you could go and where you are right now is where massive dissatisfaction comes in. And the quicker you close that gap and you maximize the potential of who you could be and what you could achieve, the faster you get ahead and actually get the things you want in life. Now, one of the big reasons why people don't do this and they don't achieve this is their personal problems in life. So I see coaches who we work with who do crush and then their business goes off the boil. Why? They decide they want to go traveling and travel to a new country every 2 weeks and they stop doing the things that made them successful. And there is a point where you can do that, but you have to be able to build a business where you have what I call the optimal selling system, which is basically what we build with the paid acquisition system we've built within 7-figure selling systems, where you can book calls, close calls, and fulfill clients, and you're not involved. If you can build your business to that point, you can then actually have leverage and scale to be able to do the things you want. And that's what you have to earn the right to do that. The problem is most people are trying to live that lifestyle, but they haven't put in the work beforehand to try and get there, which is why you're on that constant treadmill of wondering where the next sale is coming from or where the next lead is coming from, and you're constantly paralyzed by fear. But the reality is, the quicker you take action to overcome those fears by hiring someone who can teach you what to do, actually implementing those things every single day, the quicker your business will grow. And the biggest difference I see between people who are hyper successful and those who aren't is their daily actions. Like, are they consistent and do they do the thing regardless of whether they feel like it? The reason you won't be successful this year is, one, your decision making in terms of what you need to do. Secondly, is your decision making in terms of, am I actually going to do it every fucking single day? And then the other thing is going to be, how hard are you going to willing to push yourself? Because the reason most people don't get that success is they're not pushing themselves hard. Now, that doesn't mean you have to work all day, but it means you have to work in sprints throughout the day. So maybe you just work 3-4 hours a day, but super hard and intense, and you're not distracted. Whereas what most people do is they're kind of like busy fools all day. They're on the phone, they're on Slack, they're on Instagram, they're fanning around, but they don't actually really change anything or do anything productive. And ask yourself this one simple question. At the end of each day, what have you done that's really moved the needle and it's been productive for you? If you listen to this now and you can't think of what you did yesterday, that means that day is wasted. And you only have so many days. And if you think about when you do something big that moves the needle, those things will compound for you or against you. But why most people aren't in the position they want to be in is because they're compounding against them. And the quickest way to overcome that is the decision making, the things you're learning, and getting the right advice and guidance. And the more you can do that and also keep your personal life on the straight and narrow, the easier it becomes. Because success for you is actually very, very simple, but you just don't know it yet because you haven't experienced it. But when you get proof of concept, you get your first ad to convert, you get your first client maybe paid $10,000 for a high ticket coaching program. Guess what happens? Your brain starts to realize this can happen. One of the easiest ways to trick yourself into this is if you get a journal and the first thing in the morning, you write in present tense all the goals you want that you've already achieved. So let's say I have $1 million net worth. I have a coaching business that makes me $50,000 a month. I have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Whatever the goals are, write them down in present tense. If you do that consistently enough, you can trick your brain into believing it happens. And that's where you need to think in the framework of be, do, have. The reality of what most people do is they think the other way around. They want to have the thing, then do the thing, and then be the person. So you have to become the person who can build that business before you have it. And that also comes down to doing it consistently, day in and day out. The last thing I want to touch upon is your environment for success. Your environment in terms of who you associate with, who you speak with, who you learn from, and where you live are the biggest drivers in terms of what you know and what you don't know. Because what you know is limited. What you don't know is limitless. And that's why the biggest task you have to have for 2026 is paying down the ignorance tax that you are currently paying, because you are not making the money you want because you don't know what you don't know. And this is why I'm obsessed with learning and trying to get better and surround myself with better people, because that means that tax is getting less every single day. And if you want to make $1 million a year and you're currently making $50,000 a year, you're currently paying $950,000 a year in ignorance tax because you can't make that money. And that is your choice. And the choice is yours. Are you looking to grow, or are you looking to stay stuck where you are? Now, if you enjoyed this clip and you're a coach, creator, or a business owner and you want help in terms of how to scale your business using ads, AI, content, marketing, a lot of things we talk about on the show, then hit the link at the top line of our description in the YouTube video. You can book on a call with us and we'll walk through the whole process, audit your business, and show you where there's huge, huge opportunities for you to scale.